What would you do if two people claimed the same child and there was no way to tell who was telling the truth? No proof, no witness, no answer. Just one decision that could change a life forever. Now imagine this. A king known for his wisdom faced with the hardest judgment of his life. Two women, one baby, and a choice that could destroy an innocent future. But what happened next shocked the entire kingdom. A decision so unexpected, so powerful, that it revealed the truth in a way no one could have imagined. And in that moment, it didn't just decide who the real mother was. It revealed a lesson about love, ego, and sacrifice that still applies to all of us today. So stay with me, because this story might change the way you see relationships forever. Long ago, in a mighty and prosperous kingdom, there lived a king who was known far and wide for his wisdom, patience, and unshakable sense of justice. People traveled from distant lands just to seek his judgment. Every single day, the royal court was filled with voices, farmers arguing over land, merchants accusing thieves, families torn apart by conflict. And every time, the king listened carefully and delivered fair decisions. But one day, a case arrived that would challenge even his legendary wisdom. Two women entered the grand hall, both tightly gripping the same infant. Their faces were wet with tears, but their eyes burned with determination. The first woman stepped forward, her voice trembling with emotion. "Your Majesty, this child is mine. I carried him for 9 months. I gave him life. I've cared for him every single day, but she stole him from me." Before the king could respond, the second woman shouted angrily, "That's a lie. The child is mine. She's trying to deceive you." A wave of whispers spread across the court. Nobles leaned toward each other, confused and uncertain. Who was telling the truth? The baby was too young to speak, too innocent to reveal the truth. The king narrowed his eyes and questioned them carefully. Where was the child born? Who was present? What does he eat? How does he sleep? Both women answered without hesitation, their responses sharp, detailed, and nearly identical. Even the wisest advisors in the court were left speechless. The king leaned back, troubled. He had faced countless disputes before, but never one like this. If he made the wrong choice, an innocent child would be taken from his real mother forever. After a moment of deep thought, the king raised his hand. "Bring my daughter." The court doors opened, and the young princess entered gracefully. She was known throughout the kingdom for her intelligence and sharp mind, perhaps even sharper than the king himself. She listened silently, observing every word, every expression, every breath. Then she closed her eyes. The entire hall fell into complete silence. Moments passed. Then suddenly, she opened her eyes and spoke firmly. "Bring me a sword." Gasps echoed through the court. "Cut the child into 2 pieces and give each woman half." Shock spread like wildfire. Some people covered their mouths in horror. Others stared in disbelief. Was this truly her solution? Then something unexpected happened. One of the women smiled coldly and said, "Yes, that is fair. If I cannot have him, neither should she." But the other woman let out a piercing cry. "No! Please, stop!" she screamed, rushing forward and falling to her knees. "Do not harm the child. Let her take him. I don't care. Just let him live. I would rather lose him forever than see him die." Her voice broke. Her tears fell endlessly. "I beg you, spare his life." The courtroom fell completely silent. In that moment, the truth revealed itself. The princess stepped forward, her voice calm and certain. "Father, now we know the truth." She pointed at the crying woman. "That is only what a true mother would do. She is the real mother." A soft smile appeared on the king's face, filled with pride. "Return the child to his true mother," he ordered. The other woman, exposed by her own cruelty, was immediately cast out of the court in disgrace. Cheers filled the hall. Justice had prevailed. And as the crowd slowly calmed, the king spoke one final truth. Real love does not shout. It does not fight to prove itself. It sacrifices silently. True love does not need to shout. It proves itself through quiet sacrifice. Pride might be an argument, but it slowly destroys the bodily matter. Real strength is not about holding on. It's about knowing when to let go. In life, we often fight to be right. We protect our ego. We try to prove our power. But the real winners? They are the ones who choose peace over pride. They are the ones who choose kindness over control and love over possession. Just like the real mother who chose her child's life over her own claim, we too must learn this powerful truth. Selflessness is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength. Think about it. How many friendships have ended, not because of real problems, but because no one was willing to step back? How many families have fallen apart just because each person wanted to say, "I'm right and you're wrong"? In those moments, people forget something important. That love is worth more than pride, and peace is more valuable than victory. The truth is simple. Ego can win arguments, but it can never win hearts. It may make you feel strong for a moment, but in the end, it leaves you empty and alone. Real power lies in humility, the courage to say, "You matter more than my pride." That is not weakness, that is true greatness. When you choose love over ego, peace over conflict, and compassion over anger, you rise above the ordinary. You show the world that true power is not in controlling others, but in mastering yourself. The mother in the king's court showed us this. She was ready to lose everything just to protect what truly mattered. And in your life, there will be moments when your ego whispers, "Don't let go, don't forgive, don't back down." But remember this. Every time you rise above your ego, every time you protect a relationship instead of breaking it, every time you choose to give instead of take, you prove your true strength. Because selflessness is not losing, it is winning in the deepest way. It builds trust, it creates peace, and it leaves behind a legacy that never fades. Power disappears, pride collapses, but love and sacrifice live forever. So when life gives you a choice between pride and peace, choose peace. When you can hold on to your ego or let it go, let it go. Because in the end, people don't remember those who fought the hardest for themselves. They remember those who gave the most for others. Ask yourself, what is success if it costs you the people you love? What is the point of being right if it leaves you alone? History has shown us this again and again. Kingdoms have fallen, families have broken, and friendships have been lost, not because of enemies outside, but because of pride within. Now take a moment and look at the greatest leaders, the wisest minds in history. They were never remembered for their stubbornness. They were remembered for their compassion. A ruler may control a kingdom through power, but he wins hearts through kindness. A parent may raise a child through fear, but they earn true love through sacrifice. And this truth isn't just for kings or heroes. It lives in our daily lives, in our homes, in our friendships, in the quiet moments of our relationships. We all face these situations. A harsh word, a sudden argument, a moment of anger. And in that moment, ego whispers, "Don't apologize. Don't give in. Stand your ground." But love speaks differently. It says, "Be the bigger person. Protect the connection. Don't let this break what matters." And every time you choose love over ego, you don't become weaker, you become stronger. Never forget this. Ego destroys, but humility builds. Selfishness isolates, but selflessness connects. Anger leaves scars, but kindness heals. These are not just words, they are truths that can change lives. The story of the real mother is not just a story from a distant kingdom, it is a reflection of us, a mirror showing who we are and who we can become. She taught us something powerful. True love is not about holding on, it's about protecting, even if it means letting go. And that is the kind of love this world needs today, a love that is pure, a love that is selfless, a love that chooses peace, humanity, and life above all else. So the next time you find yourself in conflict, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what am I really fighting for? Is this truth or just my pride? Is this worth losing someone I care about? And if the answer is no, then take a step back. Because sometimes stepping is the bravest step forward. In the end, life will not be measured by how many arguments you win, but by how many hearts you choose not to break. Because true greatness is not in choosing yourself over others. It is in choosing others even when it's hard.